Hello, IT enthusiasts. Welcome to another episode of My Computer Career's Get Into IT Live, where we do just that. We get into all things IT. Before we jump in and I introduce my guest and our topic today, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us on your Friday at noon, and Friday on Father's Day weekend, especially when the U.S. Open's going on here in North Carolina. So there's a whole bunch going on right now. We appreciate you spending 30 minutes with us. If the face next to me on the screen here looks familiar, that is because we were joined by this guest, this very important guest, almost 1 year ago to the day. So she is one of the OGs when it comes to this broadcast. I think it was June 23rd of last year where Candice joined us to talk about all things CompTIA, A+, and kind of how to navigate the course. So we are joined by Candice Kiser. She is the lead instructor at MyComputerCareer, who obviously helps students in a number of ways navigate the program and the courses that she teaches. She has 13 years, is that right, with us?
Been with MyComputerCareer for almost 7 years.
So 13
been in
years
IT
total.
for, yeah.
Okay, so 13 years total experience. She's been named Employee of the Year once, twice, who knows how many times, but certainly been named Employee of the Year. And she is back today to help us kind of navigate what to expect when you enroll, how to hit all your goals, and obviously to find success. So, we like to touch on kind of the process with MyCC from time to time because, Candice, first, before I jump in and just talk, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Again, by the way, fantastic to have you here, especially when we're a little more polished than we were back in the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this topic was your idea, and I thought it was a great one. I really appreciate it because there's a whole bunch of students who might be a little nervous about what's coming up. They've enrolled and then it's like, oh, what did I do? Or who maybe are struggling and trying to find their way in the program. So let me ask this first. I'm a student. I just enrolled at MyCC. And I have a bit of time before I set foot in the classroom. What should I do first to prepare for the program?
So great question. And I think that's one that a lot of students have. First, you will get access to Canvas, to our learning management system, and you'll have access to what is called the hub. So get in there, start digging into the materials, getting yourself familiarized with that platform, things that the engagement team will make available to you. Start figuring out, what does my life look like right now, and how am I going to fit in the coursework that's going to be coming, this very short-term, fast-paced program. How am I going to be able to fit this all into my already busy life? So start laying out that plan there as well, to help you be successful.
So I love it. Right away, set up a plan. Right away, be organized and start that plan. So you mentioned the hub. For those of us who don't know what that is, where can a student find this, and what type of information is available?
Okay, so the hub will be through Canvas, which is, again, our learning management system. You have a lot of information there. It's where you will go through your new student orientation that introduces you to the program, what to expect, what do classes look like, what are the class times. You've got things like frequently asked questions in there, which a lot of students have. Who do I contact if I have questions about student loans, or if I'm a VA student? Where do I go for classes? How do I clock in and out? What certifications am I going to get while I'm here? There's a lot of frequently asked questions in there. It helps you with setting up notifications. So when your instructor or your lead instructor are posting things as your classes start to come up, you're getting those notifications to your email, and not missing anything important. It takes you through really the entire setup of what a class looks like, pathways, which we can kind of get into a little bit later, student counseling services, career services. What does that look like for me? Keyboard typing to help you, speed up that typing speed. There's a lot of different things in there. Student promise. Why am I here? That can become important as you start to move forward with classes and maybe start to feel a little burned out. You can go back and look at that and remember, hey, this is why I came here, why I wanted to change my life. So a lot of really great information for you there inside of the hub.
So if I'm hearing that right, that is literally your portal for all things. That's going to help you create your path and get familiar with what's going on. And I know we have the student engagement team and the pathway. So many folks are involved, and in the education team, obviously, in making sure that as much rich information is there as possible.
Absolutely.
So if I'm hearing it correctly, get in there and get familiar with it quickly. Spend some time. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So first day of class, and the hub, I know, kind of gets you prepared for that first day of class. You may have touched on it. If you did, that's fine. We'll just skip past this. But what can a student expect on that first day of class? What might it look like?
So first day of class, you should be familiar with at least what Canvas looks like. Getting into there, as far as first day, kind of how we start things out, give a little bit of introduction to your instructor team. You'll have a lead instructor as well as an instructor who is kind of like your mentor in each class, that's there to check in with you from week to week. Day to day, your main point of contact. Hey, I need help with this, or I'm struggling with that. So we give an introduction to that. We get into a little bit of lecture. We explain to what certifications you're going to be looking at in that class, kind of what a day to day in class will look like. Again, a little bit of lecture we get into. And then taking you through how to complete your assignment. So we go back through that Canvas navigation with the students to really help them get comfortable and get familiar, because it can be a lot to absorb and take in coming into a whole new platform. So just really helping students get set up for success.
So you're hitting the ground running on day one.
Oh, yes.
Like.
Yes.
Well, speaking of hitting the ground running, what an awesome comment here. Hi, Candice. I was one of your students back in 1920. I was the mechanic that quit and dove headfirst into MyCC. I want to share that I'm now a regional IT support specialist. We don't have a name there, but how fantastic is that?
That is awesome. Yeah, I have. I talk to my students in class a lot. I have student that just reached out to me. He was a student of mine back in 2018. I believe he graduated in 2019. So close around the time you did. Just asking for career services support. I talked to a student from probably a 2018 student as well, reached out to me the other day asking about certifications. So it's really cool that kind of going on what's there. Hey, I'm a regional IT support specialist now. I was a student at MyComputerCareer. That you still have those students that come back, or those students that say, hey, I need help with finding this type of position. And several years later, 5 years later, career services is still there and your instructors are still there to provide support as well.
Yeah, I always love that folks are willing to share, what they've earned. And whoever you are over on YouTube, you certainly earned where you are, and it's great to see that. Thanks for the share.
Yeah.
All right. There's a little positivity to keep us moving,
That's
right?
Awesome. Yeah, so awesome.
All right. So I've been in the hub. I'm getting back to kind of this part of the conversation. I've been in the hub. I have an idea of the process. I know it, I've been through day one. Now it's time for me to lay out that plan for success. Before we go into specifics, because you talked about the plan for success, just for anybody who doesn't know, do you mind just quickly covering the ITSA program and what's involved and how long it lasts?
Sure. So the ITSA program is 30 weeks. In that 30 weeks, you have 6 different courses that you take. Each of those 6 courses are 5 weeks apiece. So very fast-paced program. The courses that you get into, you have a computer and security essentials course, a networking course, operating systems, server, networking and security, and then your security course. During each of those courses, your lectures and your coursework is helping you to start to become familiar with the content that's going to be on the certification. At the end of that course, you'll go in and take your certification exam. Those certifications that we have are CompTIA A+, which is split up into two parts, a Core 1 and Core 2. We start with Core 2. Second course, you go into the Core 1 material. Third course, you're getting into Microsoft's cloud platform, which is Azure. And then you have an AI certification, which is pretty hot topic right now, both of those, cloud and artificial intelligence. So you get those certifications in your third
AI
course.
Fairly recently added too.
Oh yes, very recently, past several months, that one's
Yeah.
been added in.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have your Linux course, which Linux, for anybody that's not familiar, is just another type of operating system. It's like Windows is an operating system, but you have Linux as well. So you get into that course, and then your CompTIA Network Plus certification you get, and then your last course is your Security Plus certification from CompTIA.
Okay. So a whole bunch. So
Oh, yes.
we're talking about a pretty robust workload in a relatively short amount of time. I mean, let's not pull any punches. That's a fact. And we talk about that up front. What's it going to take for a student to move through the program like a rock star?
So show up to class.
Amen.
Suit up and show up.
Yep.
Right. Be prepared to learn. Be prepared to absorb all that you can. So show up to class, do the assignments, spending time outside of class, just showing up to class and doing the work. You've got to just immerse yourself in this information for the 30 weeks that you're here, spending a little bit of time every day researching, studying, doing something IT related, whether that be an hour here, an hour there, 15 minutes. I'm listening to some sort of podcast. I'm listening to a YouTube video while I'm commuting to work, whatever. But really, to be a rock star in the program, it is going to take, hey, putting forth 110% effort while you're in there.
Is there a number one that you can think of that people need to do for success? Just that one thing?
Number one is probably just going back to that, just immerse yourself in this. It's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term return on what you're investing there, and investing in yourself is one of the best things you can do for you, for your future, for your family's future. So just immerse yourself in this and putting forth that 110% effort.
Very well said. Very well said. Have a great comment from Facebook. Thank you, Candice. You were and always are. You're always still so great. So there you go. Getting a little love.
Aaron, yes, thank you. Yeah.
All right. So I'm moving through the program, and all of those things are coming together, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's going to happen. What resources could I use to help me stay on track?
Oh, man.
If you don't mind.
Resources are like, I can't think of a good analogy for it, but the resources at MyComputerCareer are like walking outside and in the grass and trying to find a blade of grass. Pretty easy to find. So lots of resources. You have your lead instructors, you have your instructors, your mentors, your fellow classmates. You've got lots of resources online. You can create study groups with your classmates. We have the Flex Classroom, which is open pretty much all day, Monday through Saturday, some shorter hours on Friday, Saturday, but you've got that classroom there. You've got boot camps. We have boot camps every Saturday. So it's just a plethora of resources. Your engagement team, your admissions advisors, if you ever need to reach out to them, there's so many resources available to help students stay on track. Counseling services, I've got to mention that. I'm huge on mental health. So anything they're struggling with, you have that resource available to you as well.
That is a great addition. That's a really good point. Completely forgot about it. And over here in marketing, we call all of those things your network of support. And I think the MyCC really does do a great job of putting that network of support around you to help you find success.
Absolutely.
So speaking of helping somebody find success, you're amazing. Our instructors are amazing. Mentors are amazing. The way you teach is amazing. It doesn't always resonate with everybody. Not every concept resonates. So, you need a different voice sometimes. You need a different perspective to maybe help learn a concept. Are there outside study resources that you'd recommend that students could utilize, as they navigate the program?
Oh, absolutely. Outside study resources. So outside of their lead instructor, if you're looking for a outside resource that's still MyComputerCareer related, I would go to Saturday boot camps and hear that perspective from a different lead instructor. You have resources on YouTube. I'm going to throw him out there. Professor Messer, he is one of my favorites. Just a plethora of knowledge. He was actually recognized by CompTIA at their conference last year as he got awarded just for his support that he gives to them as well as to students with helping them be successful on those certifications. So YouTube for me, I use YouTube a lot, just not for IT, but if I need to know how to do anything or I have those questions, there's just so many different resources, so many different people there that explain things in different ways, and you can find something there. You can find somebody here as well, lead instructors, the flex classroom, that are going to be able to relay things to you in a way that are going to make it easier to understand. Chat GPT, I'll throw that one out there as well. I recommend that a lot to my students. I use it myself if I'm having trouble with a concept and how to relay it in a real world understandable way. You can always use a resource like that. Hey, explain this to me in an easy to understand way, and it breaks it down very easily that even my nephews, I'll explain things to them, kind of using them as my test for it. And they're like, oh yeah, that okay, I understand that. So,
And you can
yeah.
literally ask Chat GPT to explain it to me like a fifth grader.
Oh
And it
yeah.
will break it down perfectly for you. So that's a great piece of advice.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of YouTube, you learn a lot there. It taught us not too long ago how to replace a ballast in a light that was hanging in the kitchen here. So it's pretty good.
Yes, used it to replace a mirror on my car. Didn't know how to get it, taken apart properly, and
Right.
YouTube. Yeah, do this, do that, boom, done.
And Professor Messer is definitely a resource you want to use, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Yep. We definitely want to talk about that. He's fantastic. All right, so we're in the course. Since we're talking about the beginning of the course, and since you're here, I definitely want to talk about that first course because you live in A+ and you teach that. So what is the course? What does it cover?
So the first course that you'll start out with is actually the Core 2 side of A+, 1102. And it is split into two halves. So that is your first course. We decided to put, a lot of students ask me, why don't we do Core 1 first? And I'm like, that's a great question. But what we found is students tend to be more familiar with what you see right here, which is the software side of things. What is a file, a folder, knowing what an operating system is versus being on that inside of that computer with the hardware, some of the networking stuff. So that first class, we get into the software side of things, talking about different operating systems, security. A lot of students come here wanting to get into cybersecurity, so we hit security as well in that first half of A+ or the Core 2 side. Troubleshooting software, we get into customer service and soft skills. And if we have time, we can touch on that later as well. But soft skills are super important. Not just, especially in IT, but really with everything, soft skills are super important. So we get into what is called operational procedures, how to protect ourselves from electrical hazards, as well as how to have good customer service. And then after that, you'll move into the hardware side. So the second half of A+ is the only class, the only certification you have here that's split up into 2 courses. So in that second course, that's where you dive into the hardware, mobile devices, networking, learning how to troubleshoot. We touch a little bit on cloud and virtualization, and just to kind of elaborate a little bit, why is A+ first? A+ is just like building a house. I tell all my students this. So if I have any current or previous students, you've probably heard me say this. It is like building a house, and A+ is your foundation. A+ is kind of all over the place. It's a little bit of everything IT, but if you're going to build a house, you've got to have a good solid foundation. And it's the same thing as you're going through the program here. We start with that foundation of A+ and give you a little bit of everything IT related. And then as you move forward, you get more fine tuned into those specific topics. So cloud, which we cover in A+, Linux, which is covered in A+, network, which is covered in A+, security, which is covered in A+. So it's really, those first courses are designed to start building that knowledge, laying that foundation. So as you move forward, it helps you to be more successful with the coursework and the material that's there.
So if you do nothing else as a student, when you start, dive into A+, learn a little bit there, kind of map out your plan, if nothing else, for that course, because it's that it sounds like it's that foundational course that's going to help you through everything that you do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Even in I've taken the advanced courses here, so even there, when I would be sitting in classes and there were things my instructor would talk about in certified ethical hacking or cybersecurity analyst or CCNA courses, and they're talking about, and I'm like, man, I teach that in A+. Hey,
Wow.
that's that's something we touch on there. So it really is A+ is super important to set you up for success throughout everything, all the other classes that you'll take.
I think it's a great message for everybody. And to go back to your point, you were talking about soft skills. Let's just keep going on around that. We have a team dedicated to helping you gain soft skills. That's our Pathways team, which you mentioned kind of at the lead. So why you don't have to spend, a bunch of time on this, because I think you covered it, but soft skills are important, certainly in a lot of industries, but definitely important in IT. So why should students participate in the Pathways program?
So participation with that, it's going to enhance abilities like effective communication. You're going to be working with customers. Everybody, no matter what type of job you have some sort of interaction with other people, whether that is other teammates, whether that is clients, coworkers, clients, customers, whatever it might be. It helps with going through problem solving. So having that, analytical thinking, adaptability. It helps with changes. Hey, how do I handle changes? How do I handle if I have a new boss? IT is always changing. So helping with that adaptability, customer service, leadership, conflict resolution is a big one, because not everybody's always going to be happy with how things are going, especially if you've ever had an internet outage. It's not always convenient, and you're working something like in a customer service role there, just learning how to have better conflict resolution.
Yes.
It enhances a lot, career prospects. So being ready for promotion, having better job performance, so that efficiency, that quality of work, personal development as well, building confidence, learning to have that good work-life balance, networking opportunities. So it's just, effective communication, solving problems, helping with teamwork, leading teams, adapting to changes, just to help with your job performance, career growth, and your personal development as well.
The traditional IT stereotype of the guy or gal that's sitting in the basement, hacking away at their computer and not talking to anybody and being a little standoffish, that doesn't exist. IT is a very dynamic industry.
Yes.
And a perfect example to what you just said is that person in you go get a gig, and you have somebody in the organization that without fail has a problem with IT every single day, multiple times a day. So as a very small example of soft skills, you have to know how to navigate that. And the response can't be an eye roll. And again, you have to know how to communicate with that person effectively to help them move through. That's your job.
Yep.
So pathways is important, if I'm hearing you correct.
Yeah, and that too, to piggyback on what you're saying there, a lot of people do have. I have previous coworkers that one of the guys talked about how his wife hates calling the IT department because they always make her feel less than. And that comes with probably not having any type of soft skill classes. You want people to report things, especially maybe a security incident. So you want to be that approachable person that, yes, even if this person has called us 5 times already today, being willing to help, because when things don't work, that is job security for us in IT.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen. Well said. What did I miss?
Oh, I don't.
We
We covered a lot.
enough?
Yeah.
So this has, I think it's been eye-opening for a lot of folks who are in the program or have enrolled for a lot of different reasons. And, it comes back to a theme that I hear a lot. We've done almost 60 of these episodes now. And a lot of those come back to the students and grads who find the most success are the ones who take ownership of their success. And,
Absolutely.
You mentioned digging into all of those resources and setting a plan. The student who does that and really commits to it is most likely going to find success no matter where they are in terms of, experience and in IT and how their program experience is going to be better because of that.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
All right. For everybody that's here, just so you know, Candice mentioned she teaches A+, CompTIA A+, Core 1 and Core 2. She has been nice enough to share with us her practice exams for those. So we are going to share those here, and those will be on all over. They'll be in the feed, so everybody can go access that. And we certainly encourage you to do that. They are robust. I think 80 questions it had on one of them. I don't know if it's 80 on both.
Yes.
So it's going to help you a lot if you're planning on moving into the course or if you're in the course. So go grab those. We'll make them available for you. So Candice, thank you for sharing those, obviously. And more than anything, thanks for joining me again. And thanks for all of the info that's going to help a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me and letting me talk to everybody out there for a little bit. I appreciate you reaching out.
We did this in a nice tight 27 minutes too, so that's perfect.
Nice.
That's ideal. That's what we're looking for. Okay, Candice, we will definitely have you back. Hopefully it's not a year from now, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. I know it's Father's Day weekend, so get out there and celebrate dads, or get out there and just really enjoy the weekend. I think it's going to be it's going to be warm. Stay hydrated, all that stuff, but enjoy. All right, we will be here next week. I believe next week we are talking to a grad that's going to help us kind of navigate how to get into a gig and find success after you're in the program. So that should be a great one as well. So we will see you next week. And Candice, if you don't mind just hanging for a second,
Will do.
We'll talk to everybody later. Thank you.
Thank you.